This is the Teachable Soul podcast. Because we cannot possibly live long enough to make all the mistakes ourselves, let's take a few moments to learn from the mistakes of others. The Teachable Soul podcast, where guests and listeners like you share stories of failure and teachable moments on the journey to success. Here's your host, Kat Daniels.
Welcome to the Teachable Soul podcast. I am your host, Kat Daniels, and today with me, I have the pleasure of interviewing Miss Kimberly Guimarin, who was born and raised in a small town in Southern Illinois. Kimberly attended Southern Illinois University, where she was a member of Alpha Gamma Delta Sorority and obtained a degree in political science. She proudly wears many titles: wife, mother, chauffeur, chef, CEO, and daddy's girl. Throughout her life, her father, or Pop as her children call him, taught her not only by his words, but by his amazing example. He instilled in her that she could do anything she set her mind to, and that the only limitations were those that she placed upon herself. Her father is a man of integrity, passion, and compassion. His passion for coffee inspired Kimberly to found Pop's Coffee in 2017. His compassion for others inspired the philanthropic twist. Pop's Coffee is a company that lives by its values and is committed to enriching the lives of other like-minded people and causes. So when you buy a bag of Pop's Coffee, you are supporting the protectors of America. Pop's Coffee is proud to support our active military through our Support Our Troops program. For every bag of coffee sold, Pop's Coffee donates a bag of coffee to our troops. If you would like to go and buy a bag and help donate right now to our troops and our first responders, visit popscoffee.net. Welcome, Kimberly. Thank you for meeting with me today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. So I know you were born and raised, we were just talking that you were born and raised in Southern Illinois, kind of near the Kentucky border. I have family in Kentucky and I love it out there. It's beautiful. So how did your dad get started in the coffee industry?
Well, he had retired officially and was very young when he retired. So he was looking for a second phase of things to do. And he's a huge people person. So a friend of his decided to join together and they started a very traditional coffee company. And they went around and they're part of the grocery stores where they have the large bins of coffees and the roasters. And he enjoyed being out on the road and talking with the store managers and the customers and just had a great time with it. So it was his love of people and coffee.
Right. And who doesn't love coffee? I know I do.
It is one of the beautiful things of life.
Right? It is. I just love the smell, everything about it. Like you can't go wrong with coffee.
You're my people.
Right? I bet. So you went to school and got your degree in political science, and then what did you do?
I became a litigation paralegal. So I did that for many years and really enjoyed that. And then after met my husband and we decided to have a family, we decided that we were blessed and I could stay home and do that. So my kids are they're a little more self-sufficient. They are 8 and 11 now. They were able to, go to school and I had more time on my hands and I was missing doing something and using my mind and being out and about in the adult world. So I kind of sat with my dad and I said, I was like, Dad, what if I take your idea of coffee and your knowledge of it and make it different? So I started looking into it and we decided to do a kind of higher end super artisan coffee that was bagged. And I started out sort of in the retail side of it, but quickly realized that my passion was for other things and how I could use this and kind of blend the two things, blend my wanting to help and give back and people and wanting to run a business. So last year, I kind of took a turn with the company and we now do fundraisers and we sell online right now. And anything you do buy, I give a bag away.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So what made you, like you said, so in originally you said that you were doing the, I'm sorry, I should have brought water, but you said that you were originally doing kind of the retail side of things, and then you just switched it to this kind of business model. What inspired you to do that? Other than obviously you just wanted to help people.
It just fit more to my personality and bring more joy. I enjoyed the business side of the selling, but I didn't enjoy the just going in, having a meeting with someone, putting it in the store and them selling it. It just felt kind of flat to me. And it didn't really feed my soul and just what drives me as a person. So that's when I thought, there's a lot of things out there I could be doing with a company, because you see other companies out there that do the buy something, give something away, or, do all this stuff to help. And I have such a passion for children, especially. So that's where the fundraising side of the company came up. I keep seeing these schools cutting their programs, or kids who want to be on the traveling this or that team. And they're very expensive, and parents not being able to afford it. So I thought, let's use something that everybody wants, coffee, and help these kids. So they have a fundraiser. They keep 50% of what they sell.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I always had a huge passion for our military. So when I was looking at, switching the buying, just the direct buying, I'm like, what can I do? And the idea came up of, if you buy a bag to give a bag. And I'm like, okay, then who's going to get this bag? And it was like immediate. I'm like, the military. So that's what we do.
Yeah. My husband is in the Army, and he has been deployed, and I cannot tell you how important coffee is to deployment.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes, that's fantastic. So now you get to kind of like stay at home with your kids and still be able to do what you love, right? And that's kind of
exactly.
Yeah, so that's great. So that's kind of an odd switch too, from like lawyer to coffee.
Isn't it though?
Right.
Like I say, I enjoyed the time that I spent in the legal realm, when I had time to devote, and I just don't like to do anything that's not 110%. And, that's a very time consuming, very kind of all in to do, corporate litigation. When you're defending these huge companies, your hours are not your own, and to do it well,
right.
So I knew that really wasn't something that I was going to go back into. And then when this opportunity sort of came up in a time in my life, I really assessed, and I thought, I want to do something more creative. And, running a business, you can be so creative. You can do it any way you want.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of put that side of, my brain to use, and, looking at bags and looking at labels and branding and all these things that I had never really experienced.
Right. It's more creative than I imagined too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, I was so drawn to that side of it. And then, like I say, anything to do, just spend extra time with my dad was wonderful. And, I still get to call him and talk to him about things, and just another connection with him. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you were close to your dad growing up, I presume?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. I was a huge daddy's girl. Still am to this day. I don't think you ever outgrow daddy's girl.
No, you don't.
Except now I do have to fight for his attention a little more with my daughter. So.
Oh, I bet.
That happened with
girl
me
now. Yes. That happened with me too. My daughter was born, and my dad was like in love all over again. And that became his favorite person in the world. And I'm like, oh.
Yes. The last time he was here, we were scheduled to go to lunch, and then his trip got cut short. And guess whose day got cut out? And the kids got extra. I'm like, hey,
right?
So, used to cut out everybody else but me,
Yep.
So.
Are you an only child, or do you have siblings?
I have one brother. So,
yep.
They're best friends, and they go fishing and do all the things they do, guys and their fathers, but daddies and girls are just different.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Well, so I bet he was very proud whenever you wanted to take on kind of the family business type thing, right?
Yes. He was, very surprised and then excited, because it was, like I say, something that was kind of in line with what he does, but in a different way. So he was able to kind of help me and develop some things, because I was super lucky. We got, my mom's family is Italian, so my husband and I were married in Italy. So my dad enjoyed going around all over and tasting the coffees and the espressos and talking to everybody there that he could, with not knowing Italian and his English. And one little shop he was in Rome, he just loved the way their espresso tasted. So he was talking with the lady who owned this adorable little old Italian lady. And she was like, I'll show you how to do it. So he showed her how he blended it. And he kind of had this recipe in his head. He goes, now I know what we're going to do with it. And that's how the espresso I have came about.
Oh, I see.
So,
Cool.
yeah, so everything is sort of has a family story as you go through my coffees and everything about my company. So, because family is everything.
Right. It is. No, I love that because I firmly believe that like family and community are especially now going to become one of the most important things, I hope, as it should be, because I feel like the community that is nearest to you should be, helping each other out basically. So that's, and it starts with your family.
Oh, I agree 100%, 100%.
Right. So you have 2 kids now, and so we're kind of in the pandemic now. Are they going to school or no? Still?
They are doing a virtual school. Our school district has been really great, and their teachers have been wonderful. They have daily classroom Zoom calls, which they love because they get to interact with not only their teacher but their friends.
Right.
So, and I knew it would affect my middle schooler, seeing her friends, but I was really surprised at how it has affected my little 3rd grader.
Really?
When he sees his friends, he just lights up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was like, that's, really great that they've made all the effort to put this on, and the teachers are there every day, and they have them at different times, like the PE coach, he does something every day with them on there too. So they have an hour online with him where they can just run and be silly and do scavenger hunts in the yards with them, and, all this virtual things that they can do. So keeping them connected to their friends has been just as key for them, I think, succeeding through this time as the schooling has been.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. And that's really my son is introverted, but my daughter is extroverted extremely. And she is in 1st grade and is having a hard time, like not being able to see any of her friends right now. And we have a neighbor across the street that has kids, and I've been letting them play together because I know that they're all staying home. They're doing the exact same things we are. Nobody is going anywhere that nobody doesn't know about already. And we're pretty close to them. So she's able to play.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, but she wouldn't be able to. If she didn't have them, she would be losing her mind. She is very sad that she can't. And we've been FaceTiming with some of her friends, still that we're close to, but it's not quite, she needs people.
Exactly. We live on a corner in our little neighborhood. So everybody walks, on the weekend. So my kids are out in the front yard, just literally waving at anyone and everyone who goes by and going, hello, have a good day.
Yes, she did that.
They
She
miss
stood at our
people.
front porch. I know. Yeah, she did the same thing. She stood at our front porch and was like, can I wave at them? Because, stranger danger and all, we've taught her. And I'm like, yeah, you can.
Exactly.
There's like, that's okay. You just can't, like, I don't know, don't have long drawn out conversations all by yourself.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we're still, that is still a part of our lives as well. Keeping our kids safe from that is, but It is kind of funny to watch their faces when they see a person.
I know. Yeah, definitely. And then we had a neighbor across the street that got their dog. I don't know how they did this. It was like, I want to say it was in the very beginning, but they have a poodle, a big white poodle, but they had their dog dyed blue and pink and purple. Like, and it just looked like cotton candy. It looked like a ball of cotton candy.
Oh, that's adorable. That is adorable.
So entertaining.
We have 2 standard poodles. So my daughter follows, all pictures if she can find a standard poodle. So, but ours are both chocolate. Now she's wishing because she sees those, she had gotten a white one.
Oh, I bet. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's adorable though. We have, I have a Catahoula, which is like just a bunch of hound dogs mixed together. And then we have a little bitty miniaturized Shiba Inu. When we were stationed in South, they miniaturize a lot of breeds over there, which is a weird thing, but that's what they do. So we got a little miniature black Shiba Inu.
Oh, they're so cute. I can't even imagine how adorable they would be tinier.
Oh, I know. She looks like a fox, like an exact replica of a fox. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. As my daughter says, everything is adorable in Mini Mom.
Yes. She's wrong. So you do donate coffee to the troops. And I know you were mentioning earlier that you do some of the school programs and that. So how does that work? Do the schools around you help do fundraisers so that they can keep the profits as well? And that's kind of like popcorn or like Girl Scout cookies?
Exactly. It's kind of two separate divisions of the company. The fundraising is made just for schools or churches or, youth sporting groups or just anybody who needs to raise money. I've even been talking with a lady here in my area that does a local diaper bank about doing one. So I have all the forms put together that you just sell your coffee, you take your orders, you collect the money. After your time is up, whether it's 6 weeks or a week, however many weeks your little group wants to do it, there's a master form. Whoever's in charge fills that out, sends it to me with a check for half the money. You keep the other half, and I send you your coffee. So I try to make it as simple as possible, but as effective as possible. So I told somebody, literally, if you have 100 kids, they each sell 10 bags, your group just got to keep $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
And, it adds up fast.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Because so many, they need so much in schools and, youth groups and things anymore because, budgets are cut everywhere. And the things that kids are losing, this can help them keep it. One school, they did it and they needed new uniforms for their band. So the band did it and they were able to buy their new uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And they do. It's being a military family ourselves. I have seen my kids go through many different schools, obviously. And, there are some schools who have more programs than others, which is heartbreaking just for me personally, because we can move from one state to another and then lose all of like the arts programs, for instance, which we've done before. And so, it's, little things like that you might not suspect are important, but they really are, I believe,
Exactly. Especially if your child has taken up an instrument and, you travel and it's like, okay, I can do my instrument this year, but 2 years when we move to this next base, they don't have it, they can't keep it up with, so I just think that it's important that people be able to fund things easily that aren't already funded.
No, yeah, I completely agree. So I'm interested personally, but also just for anyone else out there who might, be interested in starting their own business / philanthropy. How did were there, I know in every state it's completely different, but business wise, did you have to set up like a 501c at the same time that you did the business or like how, or of course you started the business actually before you did all this, right?
Right. I had set it done an LLC for my company. So that's what I'm working under. Since I don't give out the money, the groups either raise their own funds and they just keep it, or I give it to the military through the base here and they get it out. I'm not actually giving out money as anything and I'm not taking a tax break. So I have not set up a 501c3, but I would like to. Because I feel I could then do more under that and give it out in different ways.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I have friends who have done it. So I have, a lot of connections of people who've done it so they could help walk me through it. So the next that'll be another phase of things and then kind of controlling how it's given out as well.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm in a lot of, I have considered starting a business or, turning the Teachable Soul into an entire brand. And, there's lots of things whenever you're doing things like this or projects like this that you go through or ideas that you go through. So I'm in a lot of entrepreneurial groups as well. And, one of the main questions is, should I start an LLC?
Yes. So like I say, for me, it was that was the easy way to sort of set up a business and was selling a product and stuff. You always want to have, some corporate protection. So that was, what I was advised through, both on the financial side and the legal side is just to do it that route. So that's what I did. And like I say, it's always fun to grow and see how you can develop. Once you get started, all these new opportunities just start coming available to you. And that's one of the fascinating things to me about business, or the people you meet and you would have never thought of doing it, this way, because you'd always been doing it that way. And you're like, oh, well, I can do this. So, because like during this time, it's given me the opportunity. I'm right now working with someone to make all of my documents virtual versus just because I had them online, because we'll say it was schools, they would print them out and hand them to the kids. So it was super, automated enough for what I needed. But now that people aren't around each other, is how to do that virtually. And then I'm going to get with someone else. I'm like, okay, people want to just have ongoing virtual ones. How do I set that up for the collection and the shipping and everything? So even in this crazy time, you can learn things.
Right.
And that's you can change
too.
Yeah. So, and it'll just make things better ongoing. So
yes,
it doesn't have to necessarily only apply to these few weeks that or months that we're going through this.
Right.
It can apply and make the future better too. So I'm trying to keep everything with a positive light on it, even now.
Yeah, no, of course. Me too. Yeah, that's fantastic. When I worked briefly for a startup, and I learned kind of through that it's amazing to me how much opportunity for entrepreneurial spirits are actually out there, and how many things you can actually do. Like my dad owned his own business when I was growing up as well, but he owned a body shop and I was very young, and it's just amazing how many things you can actually do with a business to me.
Yes. And then you don't realize how many businesses it takes to make a business, like whether it's the graphic artist or it's the PR person or it's the IT people or the website people or the people who write this. And then, there's just so many things, many people you can meet along the way. And each person you meet along the way in these facets lets you know that there's another thing out there available. So I think that has been one of the bigger joys to me, is connecting with all the people it has taken to get me where I am, and also to show me where I can go.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, that is great. So you went from, so was it a shift in like mindset for you from going from staying at home with the kids and things, or even from like working as a lawyer to staying at home with the kids and then, owning your own business? Can you talk a little bit about the different, because that's a lot of different mindset shifts there.
That it is. I was a paralegal, so I didn't want anybody to think I was a lawyer. I was a paralegal. So like I say, that's okay. That's okay. I just don't want to mislead anybody. But that's okay. That's okay. Because that's actually what I had wanted to do was to go to law school. But then after I started working out of college, I'm like, that just takes up so much time. And I'm like, I don't know, because I knew I always wanted to have a family. Family is everything to me. I'm like, I wanted to be present with them and everything. And again, you can't do everything at the 110% that I like to do it.
Yep.
And have time for everything. So I knew very quickly. But that kept me involved in something that I liked, and the mindset that I had, the analytical side and the looking at things, and, so it was wonderful. And I loved it. And then, like I say, when we decided to have kids, we had our discussion, and he's like, let's do it this way. So I was super happy, because my mom was always at home, and I just wanted my kids to have that feeling that I had, knowing mom's there. Not that you can't be a great mom and work full time either, but I just knew the feeling I had. And I think we all kind of want to duplicate that for our kids in some way. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, this is what I kind of always knew that's what I would do. So shifted into mom mode, had our children, enjoyed that. We moved to Arizona it'll be 6 years ago in August. So a little after moving here, the kids were both in school. Then I was like, okay, I'm in a new place. I was out meeting people, and, it's just not the same unless you have something to do. So that's kind of what started me thinking. It's like, okay, I need to do something. What's that going to be? And I just, you toss up around a few things, but cooking and family and food and things were always a big deal to me. And then just one day, my dad and I were talking, and we were talking about his coffee, and we were always sat around talking about it. Like, he was thinking about, should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm like, well, this is all kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so we just kept the discussion going and decided, let's give this a try, because you want to do something, but it kind of helps to have someone who already has a little bit of a path for you.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're, so that was sort of the other thing, is like, okay, this sort of has a bit of a path I can take and like take my own fork in the road from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you totally did. You did a phenomenal job doing that.
So it's been great. So it's just like it, but different, so to speak, for what my dad does.
Right. So what brought you guys down to Arizona? Because Illinois to Arizona is kind of a different move.
Well, it was via Colorado. So out of college, we were in Colorado, and that's where my husband and I met.
Mm-hmm.
And he had gone to school here and went to college here in Arizona, and we spent a lot of time here. And I love the heat, and I love the warm. And he just happened to be a time when he was sort of making a bit of a career switch from a family business they were selling and opening up a CPA practice. So we decided it was the perfect time to move to where we wanted to be.
Ah, right. Yeah, that's phenomenal. I love, my husband went to school down there for a little while in Arizona, and we were able to spend a lot of time down there with him. And I love the heat there. I grew up in a weird part of Kansas where it's very dry and hot a lot of the time, not obviously during the winter months, but other than that, it's just very dry in general. And so when we went to Arizona, I was like, I feel like I'm home again. This is fantastic.
Exactly. And people always ask, don't you find it hot there? I'm like, no, I grew up where it is this hot, plus you have this much humidity. So to me, this feels like heaven.
Oh, right.
So I get a lot of strange looks, but unless you've experienced those hot and humid summers your life, you don't quite get it.
Yeah. We moved to Missouri when I was 14, and the humidity up there actually almost killed me. I had no idea what I was walking into that summer, and it was horrific. I still cannot stand, like, we have to, because both my husband's family and my family live in Missouri still, and so we go there to visit quite often, usually during the summer, and I hate it.
I know. I have a lot of family just outside of St. Louis, and between there and across through to Southern Illinois, and it's like, oh my gosh, the humidity back here. How do you guys do it still?
Exactly.
And you cannot forget your hair. You can't control it.
No, for sure. Yeah. And it's every time we go there, I'm like, I want to go outside and do things and be with you guys, but I don't want to go outside here. Can we all agree to move somewhere else?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Arizona's a perfect spot.
It is. It is. Yeah. My first choice would have been Colorado, though, because I do love me some mountains. I like to go hiking and all the things.
It is beautiful, but we're blessed here that we have the mountains in Arizona. So
you do. Yeah. We went to the Grand Canyon.
And Sedona. Yeah, we have the Grand Canyon. We have Sedona. We have a lot of beautiful places around Flagstaff in that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix of the best of both.
Right.
Without all the snow.
Yes, exactly, which is an important, but my son, he actually loves the cold and loves snow. So he would be like on cloud nine if we moved to Colorado, because we moved down to South Texas and San Antonio at one point, and it actually snowed while we were there, but that is a very, very rare occurrence. We were there for 2 years and it snowed one time. And of course it melted like within hours. And so,
yes. My father-in-law lives in San Antonio, so it's very humid there, but they don't get snow often.
Yeah, exactly. And so when he heard that we were going to be moving back to Maryland from there, because the first time we were here in Maryland, it snowed quite a bit, not a lot, not a terrible amount, but enough. And then when he heard we were moving back here, he was super excited. And now we've been here this will be our second year. And he is highly disappointed with how little snow we have gotten, because I think it snowed once and stuck this year. But other than that, he's been super disappointed. So,
well, he needs a trip to the mountains.
He sure does.
I always say it's easier to go visit snow than have it come visit you.
For sure. Yeah. Our birthday is in December, and we have the same exact birth date. And
so that's wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. And so for our birthday, I'll probably like take us skiing or something. So
Fabulous.
Yep. Well, thank you for coming on and explaining your story to us. Were there any parts that I missed? Is there anything?
No, I think you've done a lovely job covering it. It's been wonderful visiting with you.
You as well. Thank you again. And I hope that you and your family stay safe in the meantime.
You as well, and all the best. And if anytime you want to chat, give me a call. You're just
great.
wonderful.
Yes, I'd love to pick your brain sometime about businesses and things. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
You have been listening to the Teachable Soul podcast. You can find us on any social media platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram as The Teachable Soul, or on Twitter as Teachable Soul. Also, if you'd like to help support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/The Teachable Soul. You can also visit our website for more information at theteachablesoul.com.